Chosen one, you are not here by accident, and this moment is not random. Heaven itself arranged this intersection in time, drawing you to this message, because something has been scheduled in the spirit for you tonight. Even now, if you feel a quiet, stirring a sense of urgency mixed with peace, that is your spirit recognizing divine timing. As Scripture declares in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, there is a time for every purpose under heaven, and this is your appointed hour. You are standing at the edge of a supernatural breakthrough. What has been hidden is about to surface. What was delayed is about to accelerate. God's hidden blessing is aligning with your obedience, your endurance, and your quiet faith. And it is preparing to release sudden elevation, divine provision and transformation that will redefine your life. This is not gradual. This is not symbolic. This is heaven moving with precision. Anointed one, this is not a teaching. This is a transfer of energy. As you listen, your faith is being activated and your capacity to receive is being expanded. Do not rush this moment. Stay with me until the end so the transfer can complete fully and nothing is interrupted. If this word is for you, seal it. Type 777 in the comments as a sign of alignment and write the city you are in so this anointing can locate you. And if your spirit is ready, stay until the very end, because what begins here is meant to finish in power. Chosen one. What you are feeling right now is not imagination and it is not emotion, it is recognition. Something inside you is responding because this moment has been written long before you arrived here. There are seasons when God speaks loudly, and there are seasons when He writes quietly. Your life has been one of those hidden seasons, not abandoned, not delayed, but sealed. And tonight, that seal is being touched. I want to say this clearly because many people misunderstand their own story. The pressure you survived was not resistance alone, it was preparation. There were moments when it felt like everything was working against you, when progress stalled, when doors closed without explanation. I've been there myself, nights where prayer felt unanswered, days where obedience felt invisible. But I learned something the hard way: when heaven is silent, it is often because it is precise. Chosen one. Heaven does not rush scrolls that carry weight. What is being activated now is not a random blessing. It is a coded release, a divine instruction tied to timing. This is what Scripture alludes to when it speaks of appointed times, of moments that cannot be forced but must be entered. This is kairos, not clock time, but God time, and you are standing in it. You may not have understood why your path looked different from others, why things that came easily to people around you required endurance from you, why you were pulled into isolation, into seasons where very few could walk with you. That was not punishment, that was consecration. Some assignments cannot be developed in public. Some identities must be formed where applause cannot interfere. Anointed one. The reason this message feels heavy and gentle at the same time is because it is not calling you to strive, it is calling you to align. There is a difference. Striving exhausts, alignment activates. And what is activating now is the hidden scroll connected to your stewardship, your voice, your influence, and yes, your provision. I want to ground this for a moment because prophecy without grounding becomes fantasy. I remember a season where I did everything right on paper, worked hard, stayed faithful, showed up, and yet nothing moved. It felt unfair. But later, I realized something sobering. If certain doors had opened earlier, I would not have had the wisdom to walk through them without losing myself. God was not withholding. He was protecting the version of me that needed to exist after the blessing. Chosen one, that same principle applies to you. The blessing being released is not just financial, even if money is part of it. It is structural. It changes how you see, how you decide, how you carry responsibility. That is why it waited. Identity must be ready before increase arrives, or increase becomes a burden instead of a tool. There is a reason this message found you, and not someone else. Not everyone is built to carry hidden assignments. Not everyone can endure being misunderstood without becoming bitter. You did not become cynical. You became deeper. That alone is evidence that something rare was being formed in you. This is why the shift feels internal before it becomes visible. First comes clarity, then courage, then movement. That is the order, and tonight clarity is being restored. You may not yet see the full picture, but you are beginning to sense direction again. That quiet knowing something is changing is the scroll loosening. Chosen one. This is not hype, and this is not escapism. This is alignment. And alignment requires surrender, not effort. You don't need to chase what is already assigned. You need to stay present long enough to receive it properly. So as we continue, do not listen passively. Stay open, stay grounded, stay honest. This is not about convincing you of anything. It is about reminding you of what your spirit already knows, but your circumstances tried to silence. The hidden season is ending not because you demanded reminding, but because you became ready without applause. And that kind of readiness always triggers heaven. Stay with me. What unfolds next will help you understand why your life had to take the path it did, and what is now being placed back into your hands. Chosen one. There is a reason the shift feels subtle before it becomes sudden. Heaven often moves quietly before it moves unmistakably. What is unfolding right now is not chaos, even if it feels unfamiliar. It is order being restored, alignment returning, authority recalibrated. And when that happens, the external world always lags behind the internal one, but never for long. You may have noticed something changing recently. Old desires losing their grip. Old fears no longer controlling your decisions the way they used to. Things that once felt urgent now feel irrelevant. That is not confusion. That is discernment awakening. When God begins to activate a hidden assignment, He first adjusts your appetite. He removes the hunger for what cannot go with you into the next season. I want to speak plainly here, not dramatically. There are things you wanted before that you no longer want now, and you may not fully understand why. That is because the version of you who needed those things has expired. You are not becoming cold or detached. You are becoming clear, and clarity is dangerous to anything that feeds on distraction. Chosen one. There is a difference between waiting and being held. Waiting is passive. Being held is intentional. You were not stuck. You were held in place until the conditions around you could support what was already growing within you. Many people receive opportunities before they receive wisdom. You received wisdom first. That alone tells me your assignment is not small. I remember a moment in my own life where I realized that the delay I resented had quietly saved me from choices that would have cost me everything later. At the time, it felt like loss. In hindsight, it was mercy. Some of you listening now are only just beginning to see that the doors that didn't open were not failures, they were filters. They kept you from environments that could not sustain your future. Anointed one, this is why your journey could not be rushed. What is being released now requires discernment, not just faith. It requires restraint, not just courage. And you have learned restraint the hard way by being forced to sit with unanswered questions, unmet expectations, and silent seasons. That kind of training cannot be taught. It must be endured. This is where kairos timing becomes visible, not when everything suddenly works, but when you are no longer frantic for it to work, When you can hold the vision without forcing the outcome, that is maturity, that is readiness, and that is why heaven is responding now. There is a verse that says, "The vision waits for an appointed time, and though it seems slow, it will not delay." That is not a contradiction. It only seems slow when viewed from impatience. From alignment, it is always on time. And tonight, something is crossing from written to released. Chosen one. The reason this moment feels heavy is because responsibility is being transferred, not just blessing. Increase without clarity confuses people, but clarity without increase frustrates them. You are stepping into a moment where the two meet, and when they meet, life begins to reorganize itself around your calling. Pay attention in the coming days. Conversations will feel different. Opportunities will carry weight. You may feel prompted to say no to things you once chased. Do not fight that. That is discernment protecting momentum. You are not losing interest, you are gaining direction. This is also why rest is being emphasized right now. Not because you are tired, but because what is coming requires steadiness, not urgency. God does not release heavy assignments into exhausted hands. He stabilizes you first. Peace is not the absence of movement. It is the signal that movement is about to be precise. Chosen one, let me say something gently but firmly. You do not need to prove anything to anyone anymore. The season of explanation is ending. The season of embodiment is beginning. What is meant for you will recognize you without introduction, and what is not will fall away without drama. There is no rush, there is only readiness. As this continues, you may feel moments of emotion rise unexpectedly, gratitude, relief, even grief for versions of yourself that endured more than they should have had to. Let that happen. That is release. That is integration. That is how you carry the next season without dragging the last one behind you. The hidden scroll is not opening all at once. It is unfolding as you are able to carry it, and you are carrying it well. What comes next will not demand striving. It will require trust, the kind that moves when prompted and rests when instructed, and you are learning both. This is not the climax yet. This is the alignment before acceleration. Chosen one. There is a moment when preparation stops feeling like preparation and starts feeling like pressure. That moment often confuses people because pressure feels similar to resistance, but they are not the same. Resistance tries to stop you. Pressure forms you, and what you've been feeling lately is not opposition increasing, it is capacity expanding. You are being stretched because something larger is approaching. Not larger in size alone, but larger in responsibility. When heaven prepares to entrust someone with influence, provision, or reach it, widens their internal framework first. That widening can feel uncomfortable. Old coping mechanisms stop working. Old explanations stop satisfying. Even old prayers begin to change shape. That is not spiritual instability. That is growth. I want to speak into something many chosen ones rarely admit out loud. There were times you wondered if you misheard God, times you questioned whether your patience was faith or fear disguised as obedience. I've asked those same questions myself, but here is what clarity eventually revealed. Confusion does not disqualify you. Quitting does, and you did not quit. Anointed one, heaven does not measure readiness by confidence alone. It measures it by consistency. You kept showing up when the outcome was unclear. You stayed aligned even when affirmation was absent. That is why the current moment carries weight. You were faithful in obscurity, and obscurity always precedes authority. There is a shift happening now in how you relate to time. You may notice that urgency no longer motivates you the way it once did. You are not lazy. You are precise. You are no longer driven by fear of missing out, but by discernment of what actually matters. This is crucial because the next phase of your life will not allow scattered energy. Focus will be your currency. Chosen one. This is where destiny decoding becomes practical. Your life has not been random. Patterns that once confused you are beginning to reveal intention. Repeated themes, familiar challenges, recurring strengths. These were not cycles meant to trap you. They were clues meant to train you. Heaven writes in layers, not lines. I remember realizing one day that the very thing I once resented about my journey, the slowness, the solitude, the repeated tests, had quietly become my greatest advantage. While others rushed, I learned depth. While others gathered noise, I learned discernment. And when doors finally opened, I walked through them differently because I had been formed differently. That is what is happening to you now. You are not stepping into this next season empty-handed. You are carrying wisdom that cannot be faked, discernment that cannot be taught, authority that does not need to announce itself. This is why the blessing being released does not come with chaos. It comes with clarity. It settles you instead of overstimulating you. Chosen one. The reason this feels sacred is because it is not transactional. This is not do this and get that. This is relational alignment reaching maturity. The hidden scroll does not unlock because you asked harder. It unlocks because you became someone who could steward what was written. There will be moments ahead where opportunities present themselves that look good but feel wrong. Trust that. You are no longer in a season where every open door is yours to walk through. Some doors are tests of discernment, not invitations. Saying no will be just as important as saying yes. This is where surrender deepens. Not surrender as loss of agency, but surrender as trust in guidance. You will feel prompted to pause when logic says rush, to move when logic says wait. That is not recklessness, that is alignment. When heaven leads, explanation often comes after obedience. Chosen one. The next reminder may challenge you, but it is necessary. You cannot carry everyone with you into what is coming, not because you are superior, but because not everyone is assigned to this phase of your journey. Some relationships were seasonal, not eternal. Releasing them does not dishonor them, it honors the truth. This may feel lonely at times. That does not mean you are alone. It means your circle is being refined. Alignment attracts alignment, and the people meant to walk with you next will recognize you without convincing. You are not being rushed. You are being positioned. As this unfolds, you may find yourself less interested in proving outcomes and more committed to embodying truth. That is authority. When you stop trying to be believed and start being grounded, influence follows naturally. This is not the peak. This is the posture required before ascent. You are not late. You are not behind. You are precisely where the scroll begins to unfold in real time. And what comes next will not feel dramatic at first. It will feel inevitable. That is how destiny moves when it is finally aligned. Chosen one. There is a sacred tension that appears right before momentum breaks loose. It feels like standing still while everything inside you is moving. That tension is not delay. It is calibration. Heaven is aligning the internal and the external so that when movement begins, it will be clean, sustainable, and unmistakably guided. You may notice now that your intuition is sharper than it used to be. You sense things before they happen. You feel shifts in rooms. You pick up on motives without being told. This is not suspicion. This is discernment maturing. Discernment is not about judgment. It is about clarity, and clarity is required for what you are about to steward. Anointed one. There is a reason distractions have been falling away. You are not losing interest in life. You are narrowing focus. When God prepares someone for expansion, He first simplifies their inner world. Too many attachments create noise. Too much noise blurs instruction. You are being taught how to hear clearly again. There were seasons when you asked for signs. Now signs are responding to you. Patterns are lining up. Confirmations are arriving quietly, sometimes through ordinary moments. A sentence you overhear, a thought that lands with certainty, a door that opens without force. This is how heaven moves when timing is right. It does not shout, it settles. I want to ground this with something real. There was a time when I thought breakthrough would feel explosive, dramatic, obvious, undeniable. Instead, it felt calm, almost anticlimactic. And that confused me until I understood this chaos accompanies desperation, not alignment. When you are aligned, things click instead of collide. Chosen one. This is why your nervous system is calming. This is why peace is rising without explanation. Peace is not a reward. It is an indicator. It signals that your inner world is no longer resisting what is coming. You are no longer bracing. You are receiving. This is also where trust deepens in a different way. Earlier seasons required blind faith, believing without evidence. This season requires anchored faith, moving because of recognition. You are not guessing anymore. You are remembering. There is a line in Scripture that says, "Those who are led by the Spirit are sons and daughters of God." That is not poetic language. It is functional. Being led means you respond to prompts that logic alone cannot justify, and you are learning how to do that without panic. Chosen one, you may find that your prayers are changing. Less asking, more listening, less urgency, more clarity. That is not spiritual fatigue. That is relationship maturing. When trust is established, communication shifts. There will be moments ahead where speed increases suddenly. When it does, do not interpret it as randomness. Acceleration comes after alignment, not before it. What once took months may take days. What once required explanation may resolve itself without effort. This is not favoritism. This is timing. I want to address something tender now. There are losses in your story that still ache, not because you are stuck, but because you loved deeply. Those losses did not disqualify you. They trained your compassion. They expanded your emotional range. And that range is necessary for the influence you are stepping into. Authority without empathy becomes control. You are not being shaped for control. You are being shaped for stewardship. Anointed one stewardship is the true marker of trust. Anyone can receive. Few can carry without corruption. That is why your process was thorough. Heaven was not testing your desire. It was forming your discernment. You may notice that your voice feels different now, not louder, but steadier. You no longer need intensity to feel valid. You no longer need reaction to feel effective. This is quiet authority, and quiet authority always outlasts noise. There is also a shift happening in how you relate to success. You are no longer chasing outcomes to prove worth. You are responding to assignments because they resonate with truth. That change alone protects you from burnout, from ego traps, from misaligned ambition. Chosen one, let me say this plainly. What is coming will not require you to become someone else. It will require you to become more honest about who you already are. Masks will be unnecessary. Performance will be exhausting. Authentic alignment will be essential. This is why rest has been emphasized. Not rest as escape, but rest as readiness. A rested mind can hear instruction. A rested heart can discern timing. You are being stabilized for precision. As this part of the journey unfolds, trust the quiet confirmations. Trust the absence of anxiety. Trust the sense of inevitability replacing urgency. Destiny does not chase, it converges. You are not standing at the edge of chaos. You are standing at the threshold of coherence, where what you carry finally meets the environment prepared to receive it. And when that convergence happens, it will feel less like surprise and more like recognition. That is how you will know you have arrived at the right moment. Chosen one. There comes a stage in every divine assignment where silence becomes louder than noise. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of attention. You are beginning to hear beneath the surface of things. You notice what is not being said. You sense when timing is off, even if logic says it should work. That is not hesitation. That is discernment becoming embodied. This is important because what is being entrusted to you next will require inner honesty more than outer confidence. You are stepping into a phase where decisions carry ripple effects, where what you choose affects not only you, but others connected to your obedience. That is why heaven slowed you down before speeding you up. Anointed one. Many people think destiny reveals itself through clarity alone. But often destiny reveals itself through responsibility. When something begins to matter more deeply than personal comfort, you are touching the edge of calling, and you have felt that shift. Certain choices now feel heavier, not burdensome, but significant. That is stewardship activating. I want to speak into something that may feel uncomfortable to admit. There were moments you envied people who seemed to succeed faster, louder, with fewer questions. I have felt that too. But speed without depth always collects debt, later emotional, relational, spiritual. You were spared that debt. You paid in patience instead. And patience builds infrastructure. Chosen one infrastructure is what allows blessing to remain without collapsing the one who receives it. Many people can receive a breakthrough. Few can sustain it without losing themselves. You were being trained for sustainability, not spectacle. This is why your breakthroughs come layered, not explosive. They arrive with understanding, not shock. They integrate into your life instead of overturning it. That is not lack of power. That is wisdom at work. You may find yourself revisiting old memories lately, not with pain, but with perspective. Situations that once confused you are now making sense. You see patterns you couldn't see before. That is integration. Your past is no longer a weight. It is becoming reference material. Anointed one. Nothing is wasted in a life that submits to alignment. Even detours become data. Even mistakes become mentors. You are not dragging your history into the future, you are carrying its lessons forward. This is also why forgiveness has been surfacing again. Not forced forgiveness, not spiritual bypassing, but genuine release. Forgiveness is not about excusing harm, it is about reclaiming energy, and you need your energy where you are going. Chosen one. There are people who will never understand why you had to walk away, why you changed, why you chose differently. That does not mean you are wrong. It means your assignment outgrew shared language. When purpose evolves, translation becomes difficult. Let go without guilt. Release without explanation. You are not abandoning people. You are obeying alignment. This season is also refining your relationship with control. Earlier control felt like safety. Now it feels like resistance. You are learning to move without gripping outcomes. That does not make you passive. It makes you responsive. There is a difference. Responsiveness allows guidance to flow. Control interrupts it. And guidance is what you need now, more than strategy. Chosen one strategy built your past survival. Guidance will build your future influence. you may notice that opportunities now arrive through conversations rather than campaigns, through alignment rather than effort, through invitation rather than pursuit. That is not coincidence. That is relational authority emerging. Authority that must announce itself is not yet rooted. Authority that attracts quietly is established. This is also why your voice feels different. You are not trying to persuade anymore. You are sharing from resonance. And resonance does not need volume. It needs truth. There will be moments ahead when you feel the urge to rush, to capitalize, to act, to secure. Pause when that happens. Urgency born from fear sounds similar to urgency born from timing, but they feel different in the body. You are learning the difference now. Trust that learning. Anointed One. The hidden scroll does not reveal instructions all at once. It reveals the next step when the current one is honored. You are not meant to see the whole path. You are meant to walk it with discernment. This is why faith now feels less dramatic and more embodied. You are not convincing yourself anymore. You are agreeing with something already settled in you. That is maturity. As this part of the journey continues, you may feel a growing sense of inevitability, not entitlement, not arrogance, but knowing, the kind that does not need validation. That knowing is not optimism, it is alignment memory. You are remembering who you are before the world told you otherwise, and as you remember, things will begin to arrange themselves accordingly, not all at once, not loudly, but unmistakably. This is not the reward yet. This is the posture that makes the reward safe to receive. Chosen One. There is a sacred shift that happens when obedience stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like alignment. You are entering that space now. What once required discipline now flows naturally. What once felt heavy now feels intentional. This is not because the assignment has become lighter, but because you have become stronger in the right places. You are no longer trying to become someone. You are allowing yourself to be who you already are. That distinction matters. Becoming implies striving. Allowing implies trust. And trust is the language heaven responds to most clearly. Anointed One. There was a time when you questioned whether your sensitivity was a weakness, whether feeling deeply made you less suited for leadership influence or provision. But what you are discovering now is that sensitivity, when disciplined, becomes discernment. And discernment is one of the highest currencies in the spiritual realm. This is why you can now walk into situations and sense the undercurrent immediately. You know when something is misaligned, even if it looks perfect on the surface. You know when to wait without forcing yourself to justify it. That is not hesitation. That is mastery of timing. Timing is everything at this level. I want to speak honestly about something many chosen ones struggle with privately. There is grief that comes with growth. Not grief over failure, but grief over versions of life that could have been easier, simpler, less costly. You are allowed to feel that. Grief does not mean regret. It means you are human. But here is the truth that settles it. The depth you now carry could not have been formed in ease. And the influence you are moving toward requires depth, not convenience. You were not demonstrating strength by surviving difficulty. You were being shaped to carry weight without breaking. Chosen One. This is why shortcuts were never an option for you. You may have watched others take them and still succeed, but their assignments were different. Their impact was narrower. Yours is layered, and layered assignments require layered preparation. You are not late. You are exact. This is also why you may feel less reactive now. Things that once would have pulled an emotional response no longer hook you, not because you are numb, but because you are anchored. Anchored people are not easily swayed by opinions, projections, or urgency that is not theirs. Anchoring precedes authority. There is also a growing sense of stewardship awakening in you. You think more about consequences, about legacy, about how your choices echo beyond the moment. This is not pressure. This is responsibility being activated in its healthy form. Responsibility without fear is leadership. Anointed One, you are learning how to hold power gently, how to lead without domination, how to influence without control. That is rare, and that is why heaven trusts you with more. I want to ground this with lived truth. The most impactful seasons of my own life did not begin with clarity. They began with surrender, with the quiet decision to stop fighting outcomes and start honoring direction. Everything changed after that, not overnight, but decisively. You are at that decision point now. There will be invitations ahead that appeal to ego instead of assignment. You will recognize them because they create excitement without peace. Decline them, not angrily, not defensively, simply clearly. You are past the season of proving. You are in the season of selecting. Selection is power. Chosen One. What you are stepping into will not tolerate divided focus. Not because you are limited, but because what is coming deserves your full presence. Multitasking was survival. Singleness of focus is leadership. This does not mean your world will shrink. It means it will organize. As this happens, expect a refinement in your desires. You will want fewer things, but want them more deeply. You will say less, but mean it more fully. You will move less frantically, but more effectively. This is what alignment looks like in real life. Anointed One, you are not losing ambition. You are gaining precision. Ambition chases, precision responds, and response is always faster than pursuit when timing is right. You may also notice that gratitude is becoming more natural, not forced gratitude, not positive thinking, but genuine appreciation for how far you've come and how intact you still are. That gratitude is not sentiment, it is fuel. Gratitude stabilizes increase. This is why peace is guarding you. Peace is not the absence of challenge, it is the presence of assurance. Assurance that you are not guessing anymore, you are cooperating. Chosen One, the path ahead will not be without resistance, but resistance will no longer confuse you. You will recognize it as confirmation rather than obstruction, and you will not fight it the way you used to. You will move around it, through it, or past it with wisdom. That is growth. What is forming now is not a moment. It is a posture you will carry into everything that follows. And because of that posture, what follows will not overwhelm you. You are not being rushed. You are being readied. And readiness, when complete, always attracts release. Not because you demanded it, but because you became someone who could carry it without losing yourself. Chosen One. There is a moment when inner alignment begins to demand external honesty. You are entering that moment now. Not honesty in words alone, but honesty in action. Your life is beginning to ask you to match what you know internally with what you allow externally. And this is where many people hesitate, because alignment costs familiarity. You may feel a quiet tension between who you have been and who you are becoming. Not because either version is wrong, but because they cannot occupy the same space anymore. Growth always creates a gap, and that gap can feel like uncertainty if you are not prepared for it. But you are. You have already crossed more difficult thresholds than this. Anointed One. This phase requires courage of a different kind. Not the courage to push forward, but the courage to stop pretending. To stop agreeing with things that dilute you. To stop tolerating environments that confuse your spirit. You are not being asked to confront aggressively. You are being asked to choose clearly. Choice is power when it is aligned. There is something important happening in your sense of identity. You are no longer defining yourself by what you survived. Survival was necessary, but it is not your destiny. You are transitioning from one who endured to one who builds. That shift is subtle, but it changes everything. Builders think long-term. Builders move deliberately. Builders do not panic when things take time. You are becoming a builder. Chosen one. This is why impatience feels foreign now. You still desire progress, but you are no longer willing to sacrifice integrity to get it. That is maturity. Many people confuse urgency with effectiveness. You are learning that effectiveness is often quiet, strategic, and deeply rooted. This is also why comparison no longer satisfies you. You can admire others without needing to imitate them. Their path does not threaten yours. Their success does not delay yours. You are beginning to trust that your assignment is specific, not competitive. Anointed one, this trust is not naive. It is informed. You have seen enough to know that shortcuts come with consequences and borrowed paths come with borrowed ceilings. You are no longer interested in ceilings. You are interested in alignment that expands without distortion. There may be moments ahead when old patterns attempt to resurface. People habits, mindsets that once felt comfortable. Do not interpret their reappearance as failure. Often things resurface one last time to confirm that you are done with them. Closure does not always arrive quietly. Sometimes it knocks. You will know what to do. Chosen one. The hidden scroll is not just revealing promise, it is revealing boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are instructions. They tell you where your energy belongs and where it does not. And at this level, energy management matters more than time management. You are learning how to conserve yourself without shrinking. I want to speak to the weight you may feel around responsibility. Not fear-based weight, but awareness. Awareness that what you say, choose and commit to now has impact. This is not pressure from heaven. This is trust from heaven. You are being trusted because you have proven capable of reflection, restraint, and repair. Few people repair well. You do. Repair requires humility, honesty, and courage. You did not numb yourself when things broke. You stayed present. That presence is what allows you to lead without becoming hardened. Anointed one. There is a reason your heart remained soft without becoming fragile. That balance is rare, and it is necessary for the kind of influence you are moving into. Influence that heals rather than dominates, that guides rather than controls. This is also why your voice is beginning to carry weight without force. You do not need to convince. You speak, and things settle. That is not charisma. That is congruence. When inner and outer align, words land differently. You may notice that silence now works in your favor. You do not feel the need to fill space. You allow things to reveal themselves. That patience allows truth to surface without interrogation. Chosen one. Truth always surfaces when given space. There will be invitations to step forward soon, not loud, not public at first, but significant. They will feel right, not because they are easy, but because they are coherent. When something aligns, it makes sense in the body before it makes sense on paper. Trust that sensation. This is where faith becomes embodied. Not belief in something abstract, but trust in what is unfolding step by step. You are not walking blind. You are walking guided. Anointed one, you are not being asked to leap. You are being asked to walk attentively. Leaps are dramatic. Walking is sustainable, and sustainability is what your assignment requires. As this phase continues, you may find joy in unexpected places. Not excitement, but contentment. That contentment is not complacency, it is security. Security that you are no longer fighting yourself. This is the kind of internal peace that allows momentum to build without burnout. You are not arriving at an ending, you are arriving at coherence. And coherence is the foundation upon which everything that follows will stand without collapse. Chosen one. There is a threshold you cross when discernment becomes decision. Up until now, much of your growth has been internal clarity, forming identity, stabilizing alignment, settling into your bones. But alignment does not stay hidden forever. It eventually demands expression. What you are sensing now is not just understanding, it is invitation. Invitation changes the rules. You may feel a gentle but persistent pull toward action, not frantic action, not reactive movement, but intentional steps that feel overdue and perfectly timed at once. This is not impatience, this is readiness, finally meeting opportunity. And when readiness meets opportunity, the Spirit recognizes it immediately. Anointed one. There is a reason hesitation no longer brings relief the way it once did. Pausing used to protect you. Now pausing too long would delay momentum. Timing has shifted. The same instinct that once told you to wait is now beginning to whisper, move. This is how kairos announces itself. You are not being pushed, you are being summoned. There is also something changing in how you relate to risk. Risk used to feel dangerous because your footing was unstable. Now risk feels calculated because your foundation is solid. You are not stepping forward to escape something behind you. You are stepping forward because you recognize what is ahead. That distinction matters. Chosen one faith at this level does not ignore reality. It integrates it. You see the challenges clearly. You understand the stakes. And you move anyway, not recklessly, but resolutely. This is mature faith. Faith that does not need certainty, only alignment. I want to name something that may feel unfamiliar. You may experience moments of grief mixed with excitement as doors begin to open. Grief for the quiet life you learned to survive in. Grief for the anonymity that once protected you. That grief does not mean you are ungrateful. It means you are human. Expansion always requires release. Anointed one, you are not losing safety. You are redefining it. Safety is no longer hiding. Safety is being rooted enough to stand visible without losing yourself. And you are more rooted than you realize. This is why your values feel sharper now. You know what you will not compromise. You know what costs too much internally, even if it pays externally. That clarity will save you more than any strategy ever could. There will be moments ahead where your integrity is tested quietly. Not with obvious temptations, but with subtle trade-offs. Slight misalignments presented as necessary. Be attentive. What seems small now can shape the tone of everything that follows. You are not meant to be rigid. You are meant to be anchored. Anchored people can adapt without drifting. Chosen one. This season will also ask you to trust your voice more fully. Not the voice you use to explain yourself, but the voice you use to name truth. You may find yourself speaking up in situations where you once stayed silent, not out of anger, but out of clarity. Silence used to be protection. Now clarity is protection. This does not mean you must speak often. It means when you do, you will speak from alignment rather than reaction. And words spoken from alignment carry authority without aggression. Anointed one authority at this level is quiet but firm. It does not need agreement to be effective. It simply needs coherence. And you are coherent now. You may also notice that people respond differently to you. Some will lean in, others will pull away. Neither response is wrong. Alignment clarifies relationships. It reveals who can walk with you next and who was meant for a previous chapter. Let the sorting happen. This is not rejection, it is refinement. Chosen one, there is a creative impulse awakening in you as well, ideas that feel meaningful, not performative, projects that feel purposeful, not urgent. These ideas are not distractions, they are expressions of the scroll beginning to translate into form. Do not rush them, let them mature. What is meant to last grows at its own pace. There will be a temptation to over-explain what you are building before it is ready. Resist that. Some things must be incubated in silence before they can withstand exposure. You learned this lesson early. It will serve you now. Anointed One, you are stepping into a phase where discernment becomes leadership, where internal alignment begins to shape external structure, where your decisions create pathways others will one day walk on without knowing your name. This is not about recognition, it is about responsibility, and responsibility when embraced willingly becomes fulfillment. You are not being asked to become extraordinary overnight. You are being asked to be faithful to the clarity you already carry. One step at a time, one decision at a time, one aligned choice after another. This is how destiny stops being theoretical and starts becoming lived reality. You are not crossing into chaos, you are crossing into embodiment. And embodiment is where everything you've been prepared for finally begins to move. Chosen One. There is a quiet authority that settles in when action and intention finally agree. You are entering that territory now. The internal debates are thinning. The second guessing is losing its grip. Not because you suddenly have all the answers, but because you trust the direction enough to move without needing guarantees. This is where momentum becomes cooperative rather than forced. You may notice that doors are opening in unexpected ways, not dramatic breakthroughs, but practical shifts. A conversation that turns meaningful, an opportunity that fits instead of impresses, a decision that simplifies instead of complicates. These are signs of alignment becoming operational. Destiny rarely announces itself with fireworks. It often whispers, "This way," and waits to see if you'll respond. Anointed One. This phase requires discernment paired with courage. Not the courage to leap blindly, but the courage to follow clarity when comfort tempts you to stall. You are no longer choosing between right and wrong. You are choosing between aligned and misaligned. That choice is subtler and it demands honesty. There will be moments when you realize that some of what once energized you now drains you. Not because it was wrong, but because it belonged to a season that trained you, not one that carries you forward. Letting go does not mean dishonoring the past. It means respecting the present. Chosen One, your capacity has expanded, and with expansion comes responsibility to choose what fills that space. If you fill it with noise, it will feel chaotic. If you fill it with intention, it will feel purposeful. This is where leadership begins, not when others follow you, but when you choose what you follow. I want to ground this in something lived. There was a season when I believed that saying yes proved faith. Later, I learned that discerning no protected calling. Both were acts of obedience, but only one was appropriate at the time. You are learning this balance now, and balance is not indecision. It is wisdom applied in context. Anointed One, you are becoming selective without becoming closed. That distinction matters. Closed hearts harden, selective hearts steward. You are stewarding your energy, your focus, your commitments. And stewardship is the language heaven recognizes when it entrusts more. You may also feel an unfamiliar steadiness in your body, less adrenaline, more presence. This is not a loss of passion, it is passion integrated with peace. Peace does not dull purpose, it sharpens it. As clarity increases, you may feel called to reorganize parts of your life schedules, habits, environments. This is not about control, it is about congruence. When your outer life reflects your inner alignment, energy flows more freely. Pay attention to what feels unnecessarily complicated. Complexity often signals misalignment. Simplicity, when chosen, intentionally creates space for power. Chosen one, you are not meant to carry everything forward. Some tools were for survival. Some strategies were for endurance. What you are building now requires a lighter load and a clearer path. Release what served you then, but slows you now. This is also a season of embodiment. Truths you once believed conceptually are becoming lived realities. You are not quoting wisdom anymore. You are practicing it. And practice changes posture. It changes how you walk into rooms, how you listen, how you respond under pressure. Anointed One, your reactions are different now because your center is different. You no longer react from fear of loss. You respond from trust in direction. That shift alone alters outcomes. You may notice that people seek your perspective more often, not because you have all the answers, but because you carry calm. Calm is contagious. Calm communicates safety, and safety allows truth to surface. This is influence in its purest form. There will be moments when uncertainty still appears. Do not interpret that as regression. Uncertainty at this level is not confusion. It is the space where faith and action meet. You are not meant to eliminate uncertainty. You are meant to move with it. Chosen One. This is where trust deepens again. Not trust that everything will be easy, but trust that you will be guided through what is necessary. Guidance does not remove challenge. It provides direction within it. As you move forward, you may feel a renewed sense of purpose that is quieter but more durable. Less about proving, more about building. Less about arrival, more about contribution. This is the shift from aspiration to assignment. Assignment carries weight, but it also carries meaning. Anointed One, the hidden scroll is no longer hidden because it is unfolding through your choices. Each aligned decision translates a line. Each act of integrity reveals another word. You are not waiting for destiny to drop. You are living it into existence. And as this continues, momentum will grow not explosively, but steadily. The kind of growth that compounds, the kind that lasts. You are not moving toward an ending. You are moving into continuity, where what you carry finally has room to expand without distortion. And that is where true fulfillment begins to take shape. Chosen One, there is a phase where clarity matures into conviction. You are entering that phase now. Conviction is different from confidence. Confidence can rise and fall with circumstances. Conviction remains steady even when conditions shift. And it is conviction that allows you to move forward without needing constant reassurance. You may notice that you no longer ask, "Is this right?" as often as you once did. Instead, you ask, "Is this aligned?" That subtle change reveals how far you've come. Alignment does not promise comfort. It promises coherence. And coherence gives you the strength to withstand complexity without becoming scattered. Anointed One. This is also where obedience becomes internal rather than external. You are no longer motivated by fear of consequences or hope of reward. You are motivated by integrity, by the need to remain true to what you carry. That kind of obedience is quiet, but it is powerful. It does not announce itself. It shapes outcomes. There is a refining happening now in your sense of purpose. Not redefining, avoid confusion, refining to remove excess. You are seeing more clearly what your assignment is not, and that clarity is just as valuable as knowing what it is. Purpose does not grow by addition alone. It grows by subtraction. You may feel moments of impatience with anything that feels performative, shallow, or misaligned. This is not arrogance. It is discernment protecting your time. At this stage, time is not just a resource. It is an offering, and you are becoming intentional about what receives it. Chosen one. This is where boundaries become non-negotiable. Not harsh boundaries, honest ones. Boundaries that preserve your capacity rather than restrict your compassion. You are learning that you can be generous without being available to everything, and that distinction will keep you grounded as influence expands. I want to speak to something real. There were seasons when you tolerated things because you didn't yet trust your own authority. You waited for permission. You waited for clarity to arrive from outside of you. But authority does not arrive that way. It forms internally through alignment and experience, and now it is present. Anointed one, this authority does not push, it stands. It does not rush decisions. It allows truth to surface. You are no longer swayed by urgency that is not yours. You move when prompted, not pressured. This is also where patience takes on a different meaning. Earlier patience was endurance. Now patience is discernment. You are patient because you understand sequence. You know that moving too early can be as costly as moving too late, and you trust yourself to sense the difference. You may feel a growing sense of peace even as responsibilities increase. That peace is not accidental. It is the result of alignment, reducing internal friction. When your values, actions, and direction agree, energy flows without resistance. Chosen one, do not underestimate the power of this internal agreement. It is what allows you to lead without burnout, to build without collapse, to serve without resentment. As conviction deepens, you may also feel less attached to outcomes. This does not mean you care less. It means you trust more. You are learning that your role is to show up faithfully, not to control results. Results follow alignment. They cannot be forced into existence. This shift will affect how you handle setbacks. When things do not go as planned, you no longer spiral. You adjust, you listen, you move again. That adaptability is not weakness. It is strength refined. Anointed one. The more you embody alignment, the more others will sense stability in you. They may seek your presence without knowing why. They may feel calmer around you. That is influence rooted in coherence, not charisma. Influence like that lasts. You are also entering a season where your decisions carry generational weight. Not necessarily because they are dramatic, but because they establish patterns. Patterns others may one day follow. This is not pressure, it is honor, and you are equipped for it because you learn to move slowly when necessary and decisively when called. Chosen one, do not be surprised if your vision feels both clearer and larger at the same time. Clarity does not shrink vision, it sharpens it. You see what matters, and because of that, what matters grows. There will still be unknowns. That is not a flaw in the process. It is part of the design. Faith at this level does not demand full visibility. It demands faithful movement. You are no longer preparing to live aligned. You are living aligned. And from this place, what unfolds next will not feel like interruption. It will feel like continuation. The quiet certainty that you are where you are meant to be, doing what you are meant to do in the order it was always meant to happen. That certainty is not excitement. It is authority settling in, and it will carry you forward without strain. Chosen one. There is a moment when authority stops feeling like something you step into and starts feeling like something you stand in. You are approaching that moment now. It is subtle but unmistakable. You no longer feel the need to announce who you are becoming. You are letting consistency speak for you. and consistency over time carries more weight than any declaration. This is the stage where trust deepens, not just trust in God, but trust in yourself as someone who can listen, discern, and respond without rushing. Earlier, you needed signs. Now you recognize signals. Earlier, you needed reassurance. Now you sense confirmation internally. That is not spiritual pride, that is spiritual maturation. Anointed One, you are beginning to move with an inner stillness that cannot be manufactured. That stillness does not mean nothing is happening. It means everything is aligned enough to move without friction. When friction decreases, power increases. You may notice that your tolerance for misalignment is lower than it used to be. Situations that once felt manageable now feel draining. This is not intolerance, it is awareness. Awareness reveals what no longer fits the structure you are becoming, and structures must be protected if they are meant to hold weight. There is also a new honesty forming in how you relate to yourself. You are less impressed by appearances, including your own. You are more interested in substance, follow-through, and integrity. You are not chasing intensity anymore. You are choosing sustainability. Chosen One. This is where many people feel a strange loneliness, not because they are alone, but because fewer things resonate at the same depth. This is not a punishment. It is a narrowing of focus. When your frequency stabilizes, only what matches it stays close. Let that happen. You are not meant to explain this shift to everyone. Some will feel it and adjust. Others will drift. Neither response requires your defense. Alignment does not argue, it proceeds. Anointed One, there is also a quiet courage rising in you. Not the courage to confront loudly, but the courage to remain steady when misunderstood. You no longer feel compelled to correct every misinterpretation. You trust that time and consistency will clarify what words cannot. That is strength. This phase also refines how you handle success. You are less tempted to rush toward validation. You are more interested in building something that lasts beyond attention cycles. You understand now that recognition without foundation creates pressure rather than fulfillment. You are building foundation. I want to speak plainly here. There were seasons when you internalized responsibility for things that were not yours to carry other people's reactions, outcomes, expectations. That weight trained you, but it is not meant to stay with you. You are learning to release responsibility that does not belong to you while fully owning what does. That distinction will free enormous energy. Chosen One leadership at this level is not about control, it is about coherence. People trust what is coherent, they relax around it, they follow it naturally. You are becoming someone others feel safe aligning with, not because you dominate, but because you are grounded. Grounded leaders create stability without force. You may also feel drawn to simplify your life in quiet ways, fewer distractions, clearer rhythms, more intentional rest. This is not withdrawal. It is consolidation. You are consolidating energy so it can be directed with precision. Precision matters now. Anointed One, your intuition is sharpening, but so is your discernment. You are learning to differentiate between emotional signals and directional ones. Not every feeling requires action. Not every idea requires execution. You are learning when to wait and when to move without overthinking either. This balance is rare, and it is powerful. There may be moments ahead where the magnitude of what you are carrying becomes clear, and that clarity may feel heavy for a moment. Let it. Weight is not the enemy. Unpreparedness is. And you are prepared in ways you could not have been without your journey. Chosen One, you did not just survive what you went through. You integrated it. That integration is what allows you to lead without becoming hardened to build, without becoming rigid to influence, without becoming inflated. As you continue, expect a deeper sense of purpose that is quieter but more enduring. Less urgency, more direction, less noise, more meaning. This is not the absence of ambition. It is ambition purified. You are no longer chasing significance. You are embodying it. And as this embodiment settles, what comes next will not require striving. It will respond to alignment. Opportunities will meet you where you are, rather than pulling you out of yourself. You are not approaching a climax. You are entering stability. And stability is what allows destiny to unfold without distortion, burnout, or loss of self. You are ready for what comes next, not because you know everything, but because you have learned how to listen, how to choose, and how to remain whole while moving forward. That is the kind of readiness heaven responds to, and it is already responding. Chosen one. There is a quiet completion settling over this season, not an ending, but a sealing. The kind of sealing that happens when a cycle has done its work and no longer needs to repeat itself. You are not circling the same lessons anymore. You are carrying their wisdom forward. And wisdom changes how destiny moves through you. This is the moment where the hidden scroll does not need to be decoded anymore. It is being embodied. What was once insight is now instinct. What was once prayer is now posture. You are not reaching for alignment. You are standing in it. Anointed one. There is a calm authority in you now that does not require affirmation. You are no longer asking permission to take up space. You are occupying it with intention. That shift alone alters timelines. When a chosen one stops shrinking, the world rearranges accordingly. You may notice that the urgency you once felt has softened into assurance, not complacency assurance, the kind that allows you to move steadily without panic. That assurance is not confidence in outcomes, it is confidence in guidance. You trust that what unfolds will unfold in sequence, and you no longer fear missing your moment. Because you understand now what is yours cannot pass you. This is where surrender reveals its strength. You are no longer surrendering to uncertainty. You are surrendering to order, divine order, the kind that does not rush, does not delay, and does not waste motion. Your life reddish like it is finally moving with you instead of against you. Chosen one. You have learned something essential. Destiny is not dramatic all the time. It is consistent. It shows up in the way you choose rest over resistance, in the way you respond instead of react, in the way you honor timing even when pressure demands speed. That is mastery. There will be moments ahead when you reflect on who you were at the beginning of this journey, not with shame, with compassion. You will recognize how hard you worked to survive, how much you carried without language for it, how often you trusted without proof. That version of you is not being left behind. They are being honored. Integration is happening. Anointed one. Integration is what allows power to flow without fracture. You are whole in a way you were not before, not because life became easier, but because you became anchored. Anchored people do not need to brace themselves against every wave. They let waves pass. You may feel called to bless others quietly now, not from obligation, but from overflow. Guidance, presence, generosity, these will flow naturally, not as performance, as expression. When the scroll becomes embodied, service becomes effortless. This does not mean you will give yourself away. It means you will give from a place that replenishes rather than depletes. That distinction marks the difference between burnout and legacy. Chosen one legacy is not built in moments of recognition. It is built in moments of faithfulness no one applauds. and you have been faithful in obscurity. You have been consistent when it did not pay immediately. That consistency is now speaking on your behalf. You are entering a season where alignment produces fruit without striving. Not because effort disappears, but because effort is focused, directed, unwasted. You are no longer scattering energy across too many directions. You know where you are going even if you cannot see every turn. That knowing is enough. There may still be moments of uncertainty. Let them come. Uncertainty does not mean misalignment. It means growth is continuing. But now uncertainty does not destabilize you. It invites listening. You are listening. Anointed One. What you are stepping into next will feel both new and familiar. New in expression, familiar in essence. It will feel like remembering something you have always known but never lived fully. That familiarity is confirmation. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming more yourself. And that self is no longer fragmented by fear, divided by doubt, or driven by urgency. That self moves with intention, rests with confidence, and chooses with clarity. This is where destiny stops feeling like a destination and starts feeling like a way of being. Chosen One. You are not waiting for permission. You are not waiting for signs. You are not waiting for the right moment. You are the moment. And as you walk forward from here, things will continue to unfold, not because you force them, but because you are finally positioned to receive them without distortion. What comes next will not need to announce itself. You will recognize it, because it will feel like alignment, continuing its work quietly, faithfully, powerfully through you. Chosen One, as we come to the end of this sacred moment, do not rush away from what your spirit has just received. What was spoken over you was not information, it was confirmation. Heaven has already moved. The transfer is already in motion. You are not approaching your breakthrough, you are standing in it. This is your kairos moment, your divinely appointed time where preparation and promise finally meet. Anointed One, I release peace over your mind, clarity over your decisions, and courage over your next steps. May every door that was sealed by delay now open by divine timing. May resources align, opportunities surface, and favor locate you with precision. What God has written for you will not miss you. What has been stored up for you is being released with purpose and wisdom. Remain faithful, stay aligned, walk forward with gratitude, not fear. What is manifesting next will confirm everything your spirit already knows. And if this word bore witness within you, seal it gently. You may comment 727 as an act of agreement and share the city you're in so this blessing knows where to flow. If you feel led, stay connected, subscribe, and walk this journey with us. Go now in reverence and confidence, Chosen One. What heaven started tonight will finish strong.